So, what if I told you the dream of a car that drives itself is probably older than your grandparents? Yeah, it's a story that's been a century in the making, and today we're going to cover that entire journey from a wild science fiction fantasy all the way to our potential very real future. Okay, just look at this for a second. This timeline really puts it all into perspective. The dream, the actual idea of a self-driving car kicked off in the roaring 20s, but it wasn't until the 1980s that we saw the first real, tangible technological steps. And now, in our decade, these things are actually on our streets. The big question is, by 2050, is the steering wheel going to be a museum piece? So let's start at the very beginning. Long before we had the tech, we had the dream. This first part is all about that early vision and, our deep-seated desire to just hand over the controls. Get this. This quote isn't from some recent tech conference. It's from 1939. General Motors had this Futurama exhibit, and they showed off a vision of these automated highways with radio-controlled cars. People were absolutely mesmerized by the idea of a safer, faster, hands-free commute. The seed was planted way back then. But you can't just jump straight from a World's Fair exhibit to a fully autonomous car. The journey was slow, it was incremental. Think about something as simple as cruise control. That was really the first time a car took over a basic driving task. Over the next few decades, more and more of these foundational pieces were slowly put into place, one by one. Okay, let's jump to the present and the tech that's making it all happen. This next section is all about demystifying the language of autonomy. We're going to break down the key technologies and the official levels that define what a self-driving car can, and more importantly, can't do. So, how does an autonomous car actually see? Well, two of the most important tools are LiDAR and radar. You can pretty much think of them as the car's superhuman senses. LiDAR shoots out millions of laser points to build this incredibly detailed, real-time 3D map of its surroundings. Radar, on the other hand, is fantastic at detecting the speed and distance of other objects, even in really bad weather. Together, they are the car's eyes and ears. But seeing the world isn't enough. You have to understand it. And that's where computer vision comes in. It's the brain that processes all the data from the cameras. It's what allows the car to identify a pedestrian, read a stop sign, or tell the difference between a plastic bag blowing across the road and a child. This is where all that raw data becomes actual, actionable intelligence. Now, this right here is key to understanding the entire conversation around self-driving cars. The Society of Automotive Engineers, or SAE, created these 6 official levels. Most new cars today with features like adaptive cruise control, they're at level 1 or 2. You're still driving. Level 3 is where it gets interesting. The car takes over under certain conditions, but you have to be ready to jump in. Levels 4 and 5, well, that's the real dream. The car handles everything. And in a true level 5 car, there might not even be a steering wheel at all. So, we have the dream, we have the tech, so why isn't every car self-driving already? Well, this section gets into the messy, complicated reality of today, the competing companies, the huge challenges, and the really tough questions we're all wrestling with on the path to full autonomy. And this right here perfectly illustrates the central debate in the industry. It's not just about different tech, it's about 2 totally different worldviews. Waymo's approach is like building a nuclear reactor. Use every sensor possible, LiDAR, radar, cameras, to create maximum redundancy, maximum safety. It's cautious, engineering first, but it often relies on these pre-mapped areas, which limits its scale. On the other side, you have Tesla's big bet. Their philosophy is that the world is too unpredictable to map everything, and since we humans drive with just our vision and our brain, a car should be able to too. It's an incredibly ambitious bet on AI, trying to build a system that can drive anywhere, but man, it puts immense pressure on that AI to be nearly perfect. This whole technological race is fascinating to watch. But you know what? It might not even be the biggest hurdle. The conversation is slowly shifting from engineering problems to these deep, deep ethical dilemmas. Who's responsible when an autonomous car crashes? How does a car make an impossible choice in a no-win scenario? These aren't questions with easy technical answers. And those ethical questions are just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, the list of roadblocks is long. We need entirely new legal frameworks. We need genuine public trust. And let's be honest, that's a big one. And then there's robust cybersecurity. Plus, we still haven't completely solved driving in a blizzard or predicting what a truly erratic human driver is going to do next. But let's fast forward. Let's just imagine for a second that we solve all those problems. What does that world actually look like? In this final section, we're going to take a quick glimpse into the potential transportation landscape of 2050, a world where autonomy isn't the exception, but the rule.
Just try to imagine it. Traffic accidents, which kill over 1 million people a year across the globe, could become a thing of the past. You could summon an autonomous pod like a taxi anytime, anywhere. Cities could reclaim the massive amounts of space we currently give up to parking lots and turn them into parks. Traffic jams could simply disappear. It's a vision of a world that is fundamentally safer, cleaner, and way more efficient.
The technology promises this almost utopian world of safety and efficiency. It really does. But to get there, we might have to give up the very freedom of the open road, the exact thing the car has symbolized for 100 years. What is that trade-off worth? That's the real question we'll all be answering as we drive into the future.